Hey guys, today I want to show you how to make a paracord spool knit lanyard. Spool knitting is something that we've done on this channel in the past. We'll link to a video on that in the description. But today I want to do it with 95 cord. This project idea comes from Storm Drain. He's a pretty common name in the paracording world, and so I wanted to show this project to you today. Let's dive in. So for this project, we're going to be using 50 feet of electric blue 95 paracord. I'll probably only need about 40 feet of that. But it depends on how long you want to make your lanyard. 40 feet will get it able to go around my neck. You also need some kind of carabiner clip. This particular one is available in our store, and we'll link to that in the description. Then of course you'll need a spool knit jig. This is from Jig Pro Shop. It's their smallest size, and that's available in our store as well. And then today I'm going to be using a crochet hook with it. This is really the ideal tool for spool knitting. In the past I've used just like a fid. For 550 cord that works just fine, but for 95 cord this grabs onto it a lot better. So the nice thing about spool knitting is that on longer projects you only need access to one end, so it's not like the cobra knot where you have to continually feed all of your cord through your knots each time, because it's essentially crocheting. So we'll start off by putting one end down through the jig. I've got mine set up with 3 pegs. There's 6 holes on this side, so you just want to space out your 3. And I want to leave a good 1.5 feet or so of cord out the end. We're going to be tying knots with that later. So then to begin our knotting, we want to wrap it clockwise around each peg, moving around the circle counterclockwise. So then we go to our next one, and then our next one, and we'll stop there. That's a full circle around. For this first time, we want to do 2 of those. So we'll go around every peg a second time, stop there. You want to keep some tension on this cord, otherwise it'll come off of that peg. So now we want to go to the first peg that we wrapped cord around and grab onto that lower wrap with our crochet hook. We're just going to bring it over the hook into the middle. And ideally you'd be using a weight on this cord, but because we have such a long cord, that kind of makes it impractical. So you just want to pull the cord through and keep just a slight tension on that. We'll move around to the next peg, hook that with our crochet hook as well, and pull it over, giving a little bit of tension on that middle cord again. Now to our last peg, same thing, over the top of the peg, and pull just a little bit. This one won't pull down as far, and that's just fine. So now we're essentially going to repeat that again. Since we've already got our first wrap on each peg, we just go around once more. Around peg number 1, 2, and 3. If it helps, you can mark which peg you start on. With 3, it's not too hard to remember, but if you have more, it could get confusing. And then again, we grab that bottom loop and pull it over the top of the peg. So that row is now done. We're going to continue with this pattern until we have a full 24 inches of completed weave. And then I'm going to show you how to join the 2 ends together and add our keychain. So I've got 30 inches of weave, and now I'm going to tie this off so that it doesn't come undone. And then we'll move on to the snake knots and joining these 2 ends together. So to end this is basically a quick release sinnet right now, because if we took it off the spool, I could pull this end and it would all come undone. So to prevent that, we're going to go one more time around. We're just going to do 1 peg at a time this time. So I wrapped it around our first peg there, and then we're going to grab that lower loop and bring it over. And then we're actually going to pull this remaining loop off of the hook and pull all of our extra cord through there. I've got about 10 feet left from our 50. All right, so now that peg's done. Then moving on to the second peg, we'll wrap it around again. Pull that bottom loop over the top. And then pull the slack through on that bottom loop. last one, wrap around, bottom loop over the top. And then we'll grab that remaining loop and pull the slack through. So now we can pull it off of our spool, and we've got a finished end. So we're done with our spool, and we can set that aside. We want to line up both of our ends of the braid, and you can go ahead and cut the remaining end of your cord off. Don't do it right at the braid because we need to use some of that cord, but maybe leave 1.5 feet again, just like on the other side. And now we're going to bring our keychain on, and we just want to do some snake knots around these two strands to join them up. So you want to thread those ends through and orient it so that the working ends are going out the back. Make sure that each of your braids is even with each other. And then for the snake knots, I'm going to try to make it so you can see what I'm doing here. Our two working ends are off to the side. We're going to take this left one and bring it around the back until we've got a loop like this. And then with that right side cord, we're going to bring that around the back this way, up like this, and on top of our left strand before going down through that right loop. So we'll pull that tight. Right up against our keychain. Then we're going to make another one of those. So if you didn't catch it the first time, I'll do it slowly here the second time. We're going to bring the left cord around the front, so just cross it over. Make sure it goes around the two middle strands and this other weaving cord. And then loop it around the back. So you've got a loop like this. And then with the right side cord, we're going to run behind and then over the top of this left cord, like that, and then down through this loop. And cinch that right underneath the first one. The nice thing about snake knots is they stack really nice. So once you have a couple of them together, it should cover up all of your center cords and finish it off nicely. Before you finish off those snake knots, just make sure that the two ends of your weaves are level with each other. Once you've filled up that end with snake knots, we'll just go ahead and clip our ends as always. And there's our lanyard all finished. I really like how this one turned out. So in the 95 cord, the spool knitting turned out very flexible, so it actually makes for a very comfortable lanyard to wear. As always, we'll put links in the description to where you can get the supplies for this project. If you make this for yourself, definitely let us know how it went. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.